Alright, we are in these picks and bans right now. We're gonna see what's happening. We haven't seen either of these two teams play recently in this tournament. However, we know that Huevos, Equipos, and All-Star Scrubs have been playing in this tournament for at least a few weeks, and then Ari ban right away. That's fairly weird. I can imagine that that's more of a respect ban than anything else.
Maybe. It also might be trying to counter the other person's team. Maybe they've done their research. Who knows? We can only see. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was a respect ban. But
Vi is another ban right there. She's fairly standard. I see Vi bans out quite a bit, especially in LCS as well.
We've got the Jarvan and Twisted Fate bans going down there as well. Jarvan again, strong jungler, and Twisted Fate quite good at getting around the map quite speedily. Malphite, typical ban there. That ultimate so strong in every team fight.
Amumu, yeah, Amumu, Malphite, Jarvan, they're all very, very strong teamfight champs. It looks like Hecarim is going to be the first pickup for the blue team. Hecarim has been seeing a lot more action recently, and he's gotten quite a bit of displacement in his kit. He's also a fairly good jungler, even though they recently nerfed his amount. Actually, it was sort of a nerf and sort of a buff. They buffed his early game sustain, but nerfed his late game sustain, so he's not going to be as tanky in late game teamfights, but in the early game he's going to be able to sustain through the jungle a bit more. And to be honest, all in all, I think that's more of a buff than it is a nerf, really. Because Hecarim's main folly was in the very early game jungle. He wasn't able to clear camps.
It was.
And get out with as much health as many other junglers would be able to, such as Udyr, who we see right now is being picked up in this game. Udyr, you can either play him top or in the jungle. I see both happen quite frequently. We'll have to see what that goes for, but I definitely like the fact that they're picking it ambiguously.
They are indeed. We're seeing the Graves Turret for a bot lane already being picked. Turret, one of the best supports, I believe, in this current format of Season 3. He's just got so much, he's got so much utility on him. That stun, that armor reduction, and that heal to heal up his AD carry, whoever he's supporting at the time. Such a strong bottom lane combo between the two of them.
Indeed, and it looks like the purple team is going to pick Vayne right into that combo. Not a very good idea in my opinion. Even if you have your own comp laid out, it's still not good to counterpick yourself. The purple team is going to have a very large amount of trouble. They're going to have to pick an extremely defensive support if they want to keep Vayne into this game. And really, you're not going to see too many kills on the Vayne very early because of the amount of damage and the amount of CC that the blue team has in their bottom lane. So, I really want to see... Oh, they already picked their support as Blitzcrank, huh? Silly me, but at the same time, it's not defensive enough. Blitzcrank Vayne, they're just way too... They're not powerful enough early game. The thing about Blitz is that he's really powerful early game, but you have to have an AD carry that complements him really well. At this point, if Blitzcrank were to pull in, say, Graves, if he were to pull in Graves, then Taric could easily follow up with a stun and turn on one of the purple team members. They're going to have to play this matchup really well. They're going to have to place each thing. You can't, in this matchup as Blitzcrank, you can't just land a pull and everything's fine. You have to know exactly when to land a pull in this matchup, because if you're too close to Taric when you land the pull, Taric's just going to stun, Graves will turn, and you're going to get killed. If you don't land a pull close to the wall, then Graves is going to have a much easier time to get out because Vayne can't condemn him into the wall. So very careful matchup here, and I really don't like the Vayne pick, even if they've already gotten their comp laid out. Even Tristana would have worked better. Tristana's very nice late game carry, and she's got fairly high amount of mobility early game.
So we're seeing some of the more other picks being going down. We've got Darius being picked there. Very interesting high burst damage bruiser. Very tanky, very good at outputting the damage. His ult just got recently nerfed, so interesting to see how this will go down in their respected lane. However, we've got also Gragas and Diana being picked as well. Gragas, very, very high burst damage abilities. However, has to pull himself out of the fight sometimes, as he's got quite a lot of high cooldowns on some of his abilities. Diana also very high mobility, high burst damage champion, but again, if her abilities are on cooldown, she doesn't do all that well.
And Diana's very, very good assassin in this meta right now, and
Mm-hmm.
one of her main points is to basically jump into a fight, screw the enemy's positioning up, and then get out and poke around, see who you can assassinate, go straight in for the kill, and you can get out fairly easily as Diana. If you
Mm-hmm.
land a crescent sweep before you dash, then you get a refresh on your ultimate after
Mm.
you land the dash. So she's got very nice mobility if you can use her kit correctly.
Yes, yes.
And let me
It's
take
one of the
some of
things
the
I
blockers off.
really like. It's one of the things I really like about Diana as well, because of that high mobility assassinations. She can just go straight in there, take out the target intended, and then just get out as quick as possible, which she can actually do. She can just go around the fight, pick out the one she needs to pick out, and then pull out again if she needs to pull out.
So we do see that it's in fact a top Olaf and jungle Udyr. That's it could have really gone either way. That's what I said I liked earlier is the ambiguous picks that the purple team was able to do, picking two champs that could interchangeably go into the jungle and the top lanes. So fairly strong right there. I I see flashes sometimes on Udyrs. I also see Ghost quite a bit, and even sometimes I see what is it, Exhaust. All three summoner spells are pretty good on Udyr because if you take Flash or Ghost, then it'll just make it so much easier for you to land your Bear Stance stun. However, Bear Stance already gives you a movement speed buff, so in that respect, you could also be not so much safe, but you could take Exhaust and it would be viable. You would give up that really instant escape potential, but at the same time as Udyr, it's going to be hard to escape in the first place. You are a very all-in sort of champ as Udyr. There's no sort of, oh, I want to poke into the fight a little bit, but I don't want to initiate. No, every single one of your abilities is melee. So you're going to have to be really careful as Udyr.
Very careful. I do like the team comp of the blue team as well, because they've got quite a lot of damage and quite a lot of tankiness on their team. What do you think about that?
Quite a bit of both damage and tankiness. Yes, indeed. I feel like Darius is one of those champs that needs to snowball. He really
Mm.
is. If he doesn't snowball, then he's going to have to build straight tank, which obviously doesn't do quite as much damage. It still does damage, but not nearly as much. And against a team where you have someone like Vayne who you want to get to really quickly, you want to burst her down, you want to make sure she's out of the fight instantly. Darius, you're going to have to make sure that he gets a few kills early game and he's able to do that. Otherwise, you're going to really have to rely on Hecarim to jump into the back line of the fight with his ultimate and disrupt in that respect. Otherwise, Vayne is basically going to rain death on the team fight there. If blue team gets close enough, they do have quite a bit of CC to stop Vayne, but they're all short range CC, like Apprehend from Darius or Stun low range.
The only high range kind of CC I can see is the Hecarim, that charge ability, managing to just charge in there and try and butt out anyone close enough to him to get maybe a kill off or something like that. But as you said before, they've got lots of low range CC,
And
nothing much to be able to catch up with anyone.
one of the main things about Gragas is that even though he does have long range CC, it's a lot harder to land than most others. You really have to position it correctly, and really, it's hit and miss for the most part. I wouldn't want to say luck, because there's obviously a lot of skill in playing that, but it could go wrong just as easily as it could go well. It's not a very consistent CC ability. Most of the time, people use it to initiate a fight to scatter instead of try to place one champ exactly where you want him.
Mm-hmm. There is, and now we are going to the skin intimidation wars going down. We've got blue team with Headless Hecarim, Malphia, Graves, and Vandal Gragas, but the red team picks up a Heartseeker, Vayne, Primal Udyr, and Dark Valkyrie Diana, with only Tarek, Darius, Blitzcrank, and Olaf letting down their teams.
You say only, but that's still fairly large amount. I've been in plenty of games where there have been 9 skins, and one person just ruins it for everyone. That's never fun. But
It never is, but
no
some
one's
people just maybe
alone.
don't have the money.
Alone in that right now. Jack Sparrow, I know, fairly good jungler. I see him a lot during this tournament, so I'm gonna be excited to see how he does. Obviously, he's taken Ghost for Hecarim. That'll help him with his mobility. It'll help him position his dashes, and it'll also give him more attack speed. Or attack damage, actually.
Hmm. Um, so have you got anything else to comment about the teams is only thing I can say while we're getting ready to set up as people are now entering their lanes.
Alright, there we go. I want to point out the few barriers that both teams have. On their AD carries, both teams have barriers, but also LG Scope on Gragas also has barrier, which is very interesting, and I think that's a good pickup in this case, because he is against Diana, who's a very, very bursty champ.
They are indeed, and I have a funny feeling that Diana may have countered Gragas in this regard, because Gragas, as I said before, he's got quite a bit of damage, but he's got lots of high cooldowns on his abilities. He's going to have to utilize that and then get out before Diana picks up on that to try and pick him off. He's going to have to stay back and just use his barrel to poke at Diana. If he gets himself caught out, then I have a funny feeling Diana's going to probably kill him.
That is a very good point right there. I was just setting up some of our overlays. There we go, we have both the team names up there right now. Both teams just taking sort of a defensive stance, making sure that they have their own buffs covered. Blitzcrank, I wouldn't really call that a very offensive ward. It's still fairly defensive right here, as it does give you vision of whether people are mobilizing outward into your side of the jungle, and they also have wards up here. So from both teams, fairly defensive warding, I would say. Obviously blue team's going for a bit more defensive, and ooh, it looks like the red team might be trying something sneaky here. They're just going to steal the blue team's golems right here, and they're none the wiser about it.
They are indeed. You can see how close the blue team is to the purple team, but they just are entirely oblivious of the Vayne and the Blitzcrank picking up the double golems on the bottom there. Hecarim will not find this out until he actually goes down there and tries to pick them up. Vayne and Blitzcrank now returning with a bit of damage on them, so it may appear that they were helping Udyr to leash and get that blue buff. However, it won't be until a bit later when they realize that Hecarim doesn't have his golems.
Alright, and actually by the time Hecarim goes down to his golems, they will have respawned, because he went straight for blue afterwards. Generally something, if you start red, most of the time you're not going to go for golems extremely afterwards, because you're going to have quite a bit of damage on you, and golems generally one of the harder hitting minion camps. So as most junglers, you don't go from red to blue, or red to golems, you go from red to Ryze to blue.
However, here comes the gank from Hecarim. Beautiful, beautiful drag back by that Darius there. Doing quite a bit of damage to that Olaf. Olaf having to pop a pot because of that engagement. It was beautifully timed Hecarim charge there as well, making sure he was just ahead of Olaf and then pushed him back so that Darius can land his grab.
Alright, in the bot lane, we did miss a little bit of action as Blitzcrank did land a pull close to a wall, and that allowed Vayne to get quite a bit of damage down onto Graves because she condemned him against the wall. That's one of the only ways that Blitz is going to be able to land a pull and not have it come against him and damage his own team. So hopefully they'll do a bit more of that, or he could just hook a minion right there.
He could just hook a minion instead. Gragas doing well against the Diana mid lane as well, because what he's doing is making sure Diana can't do a proper assassination on him by making sure the lane is always pushed up to her turret. Also, this is a very risky move though, because without any wards, he won't know if Udyr comes, and he won't know if a gank is coming. However, there is a very nice ward placed at his Wraith camp, so Gragas may see him coming if he comes from that direction.
And Blitzcrank landing a
Hecarim
really long
now
range.
coming into the bot lane here. He is going to come in for the gank. There goes the stun from Tarek. Very nice flash stun there. And there's a first blood for the Hecarim. Graves picking up a kill on the Blitzcrank there. Vayne and Blitz pushed up a bit too far, not warding that Tribush, not seeing that the Hecarim comes from a different angle and uses his charge to pick him up. Very nice flash stun there by the Tarek as well.
I'm honestly wondering why Vayne and Blitzcrank, being the champs they are, pushed up that far without sight into the Tribush, especially since they know that Hecarim is the jungler.
Indeed, indeed. And here comes the Udyr coming to try and pick up a kill. Very nicely done, actually. The nice counter engagement on the Darius there, especially since he was laying the beat down on Olaf. Olaf turned it around as soon as Udyr came in with that stun. However, here comes Hecarim. Hecarim charging straight in. He's got his Ura pulled up, and he is going to use that beautiful Q to pick up the kill on the Olaf.
Yes, indeed it was. And now it looks like the blue team, they're off to a fairly early lead right now. They're 7k gold ahead, and only 1 kill return for the red team, and that was in the top lane. They're doing a pretty good job of shutting Darius down early so far. We'll have to see how that continues, although they did end up giving Hecarim yet another kill, so he's going to be fairly strong himself. He actually hasn't gone back yet, so he's sitting on a lot of gold, definitely going to get boots and Spirit Stone on first back, I believe. Spirit Stone is just one of those items that is really good for junglers because they generally start with a Hunter's Machete, which gives them extra jungle clear, and it also gives them mana regen along with health regen, so very strong, although I'm wondering about the Boots of Swiftness. I would have rather seen maybe a tanky sort of boot, or maybe even Boots of Mobility. Boots of Swiftness, it just doesn't seem like they're too worth it in terms of, if you compare it to the other boot choices.
Say, admittedly, I would probably go for Boots of Mobility over Boots of Swiftness. That extra movement speed in between combat fights is just that so much better than Boots of Swiftness, in my opinion. However, that slow resist may have something to do with it as well, making sure he's in his position as soon as possible.
Udyr showed his face in mid a little bit, maybe just to scare him off. But one thing I forgot to mention at the very beginning, actually, was the fact that Gragas actually started complete potion start, which generally I don't like, but in this case, since he's against Diana, was a great choice, because Diana, she can really poke you down easily with her crescent sweeps, and once you get down low enough, she'll easily jump in there and burst you down with an extremely high amount of burst, so I do like the amount of potions he started with. And he's really going for a lot of
He will do
sustain.
indeed. There's a bit of engagement going on the top lane as well at the moment. Very nice clashes between the two, but no action as of yet. I like the comments on Gragas as well that you made. The fact that he started with those all potion starts. Again, as I referenced earlier, that Diana, if he catches Gragas out just for a moment, she may do enough damage to take him out. So doing that all potion start makes sure that he isn't low enough for her to kill him.
And red team really needs to be a little smarter on what engagements they take in the bot lane, because as blue team having Tarek, they do have heals while red team doesn't.
It does mean that they can keep in lane for a lot
and
longer
in the mid
than
lane,
the rest of them.
Gragas uses his ultimate on Udyr right there.
However, he is going to get counter-engaged by the Diana, and Udyr will get away from that. Sadly, the Udyr got caught out there by the Gragas.
And there we go. Both teams just disengaging that. No kills, which is really, at this point in the game, I don't like seeing too many kills, because it means one of the teams is going aggressive, one of the teams is taking large risks, and ooh, just barely missing the hook there onto Graves.
However, I am going to have to stop you there again. Diana, as I said before, he's now actually picked off the Gragas. Gragas activating his barrier. She is going to go in for the kill on Gragas. She is going to do it. She's trying to flash away from Hecarim, but Hecarim comes straight in, charges straight in, pushes her back, even with the flash there, and he picks up the kill on the Diana. However, in the bot lane, we see that Graves picked up a double kill on the Blitzcrank and the Vayne there. Very nice plays. Obviously, some stuns were going down and a lot of burst damage from the Graves.
Oh, in the mid lane, he's
And
about
I'm
to pick
going
up a kill
to
on Udyr.
almost miss a Udyr getting picked up by the Hecarim there. Very nice plays. This Hecarim just seems to be doing everything for his team at the moment. He's just everywhere.
He is 4-0. He's been making a lot of action happening, and he's sitting on 1,300 gold. He's going to back and get quite a bit, and so is Graves, sitting 3-0 with quite a bit of farm, and I really don't think that All-Stars are playing the bottom matchup correctly. I expressed how
Maybe
much
not, maybe...
I expressed how much I hated the Vayne pick right into Taric Graves. Not a very good choice there, but they're not playing this lane correctly either. Blitzcrank is being too free with his hooks, and it's really one thing that a lot of lower level Blitzcranks and inexperienced Blitzcranks do is they think, I land a pull, we win. That's how it works. It really isn't, especially against this sort of team. You can't just think about landing a pull and have it win you the game, especially against such a bursty comp.
I am going to have to stop you there, because it looks like Diana's going to try and go down on the Graves. However, there wasn't enough damage for her to try and pick up the kill on the Graves. Not the Graves, sorry, the Gragas. Hecarim's going to back and get the Spirit of the Elder. Now, explain why this is a good item on Hecarim.
Hecarim can really benefit from this item because it gives quite a bit of health along with a build out of the Spirit Stone. And not only that, but it basically gives you a red buff, so your attacks are going to be doing true damage, and which really helps him out in some of his ganks. So here we go, and to no one's surprise, I see both Vayne and Graves picking up a Bilgewater Cutlass. That's obviously going to build into Blade of the Ruined King, as this meta is basically League of the Ruined King.
Oh, I am going to have to stop you there, because that was wonderfully played by the Darius there. You did, unsure if he's going to go in. Beautifully tower dove in there by the Darius there, picking up the kill on the Olaf. Beautiful ignite and thingy combo. Darius is now going to go down, though, by the combination of Udyr and Diana. Diana using a lot of her pushback abilities to bring him back just enough so that Udyr can land his stuns, and they can do enough damage to bring that Darius down.
And not only that, but that amount of action from Darius was able to draw so many members of the red team up to top lane. This allows them to take a free dragon in the bot lane, as Diana certainly wasn't bottom. She was top. She couldn't do anything about the dragon pickup, and at the same time, so was Udyr. Udyr was top. He wasn't able to act on the dragon. He wasn't there to smite it. He wasn't there to disrupt it or anything like that. So free dragon for the blue team. 4.4k gold ahead, 11 minutes into the game. Quite a good lead in their part. And they're expressing that lead fairly nice, as they're just making action happen wherever they can along the map. We also see Graves. He's almost got his Blade of the Ruined King. Blade of the Ruined King obviously is such a good item because it gives you attack damage, it gives you so much lifesteal, and it also gives you attack speed on top of that. Not to mention, its active ability basically steals some of the enemy's life and gives it to you. So very strong item. First build on so many AD carries right now.
I will say that Blade of the Ruined King is one of those items that is just a counter to the current meta, especially with the current meta where people build a lot of health. They gave AD carries a reason to be able to engage, and there is going to be an engagement on the bot lane. Here comes the Hecarim now. Beautiful charge in there. Nice ultimate used by the Hecarim. However, Diana and Udyr are now going to come down and join the fight. They are going to go straight onto the Graves. Good choice as well. He dashes away. He's pulling out all the shots. He does bring down that Udyr now. Diana having to be pull out the fight there because she is now against 4-1.
That was really just red team not quite sure what they were thinking. Diana and Udyr certainly can't be jumping into the team.
But it looks like Diana's going to get dived on, and she will fall down. She overstayed her welcome a bit too much. And also on the top lane, Darius picking up another kill on the Olaf. Again, it seems like that he tower dived it, using his Noxian Guillotine to pick up that kill.
And Hecarim is 6-0 right now. He's sitting on yet more gold, 1,500. He's going to be very far ahead of Udyr in this game, and he's also going to be able to tank very well. I mean, he might even get a Giant's Belt here. Nope, Kindle Gem still gives him quite a bit of health. And really, Hecarim has been the one who's making this game happen. He's been all over the map. He's been ganking for every lane. He's been making kills happen. They've taken bottom tower. They're just about 6k gold ahead, sorry. 7k gold ahead. My math. I don't know what happened there, but my math just kind of died for a sec. But Gragas even has been doing very well in terms of his farm. He's got the most in the game. And as I said before, bot lane, Diana and Udyr, they went onto a team with Taric and Hecarim right there next to Graves. That's not a fight that they can really win because Diana really can't be stunned or else she'll stop putting out damage at all. And she's just not tanky enough this early in the game to not care about that stun.
Another thing to say that you said about earlier is the fact that Graves, the Blitzcrank, and the Vayne playing their roles a little bit too aggressively, maybe.
Yeah.
The fact they are trying to do as much damage as they can to the other two that were in the bot lane, Graves and Taric, and they just weren't doing enough to make it effective, especially with the blitz grabs.
And we might be seeing an engagement right here as the blue team comes in.
We actually are, because there goes a beautiful ulti by the Gragas there that picked out the one of their team, and that means that he would go down. They are now tower dive onto the rest of them, which picked them up 2 more kills from that engagement, all 5 of them bearing down on 4 of their team and just bringing down for 4 kills in the mid lane.
And wow, All-Star Squad just getting pretty destroyed in this game. It's already a 9.3 gold difference. Oh, there we go. Now it's a 10.1. Then it got taken back. Basically, it's around a 10k gold difference 15 minutes into the game, and I know a lot of people like to talk about the 10k gold difference being the point of no return, but that's really situational. You can't call it the point of no return. It really depends on when in the game that 10k gold difference is, and if it's 16 minutes into the game, then you can easily consider that the point of no return, because at this point neither team has a lot of gold, and right now we see that 60% more gold. Is it? No, 50% more gold for the blue team than it is the red team right now. Once again, math just getting me. But such a huge gold difference this early in the game, that is something that you can measure a game upon.
Yes. However, one thing I will point out as well is, okay, they may have a 10k gold lead, but they also have a 16 kill lead on the other team as well as a 3 tower lead. I mean, that's got to lead to something for the red team.
Yeah, the blue team, they're just going to have so much more map control as well. Too early in the game for a Baron, but they could easily be stealing away some of the red team's buffs, and Hecarim, he's looking like he's going to try to do some of that, realizes the enemy red buff isn't actually there, just runs out, but once again, like I said, they've gotten a lot of map control, and they can really sneak some objectives like that, and there's really not too much that the red team can do about it. Even if they have it warded, it's not like they can win a straight up 5v5 team fight. Looks like Ping's going down.
I am really impressed with the plays that the Gragas did in the mid lane, although he was pretty much, as we probably said, his character was probably not the best choice for against the Diana. He did hold his own very well. He made sure that Diana got as little farm as she possibly could have, and although he did get killed a couple times, he out-farmed her, and that was enough to win the lane.
Yeah, and even a few points in that lane, Hecarim basically showed up and just kind of ran into Diana and she died. Just getting trampled by Hecarim, basically 7-0 right now. And a Shurelya's being popped, not quite an engagement.
So there was the Shurelya's pop there, there was intent for an engagement, but there was no engagement going down. Darius, overstaying his stay on the top lane, was going to try and pick up that top turret. However, he did get picked off by the Vayne and the Olaf. Olaf going very low there, obviously being attacked by the Darius, but Vayne coming to save the life of them. There is a fight at the base as well. They're picking up some kills on the other team. So much damage going down. Graves picking up a double kill, and Gragas picking up one of those kills as well. And that's not good for the other team, especially now Vayne trying to do a 1v1 engagement. That's not good at all, especially with the other Gragas and the Hecarim being there to protect him. Graves picking up a bit too many tower shots there, but not enough to die. They are going to try and take out their damage onto the Vayne and the Olaf there. However, they are getting kind of low themselves. They are going to pull out of this fight. Missed barrel there as well. However, the Shredders is popped. They are going to escape out of this one, and Vayne's just going to stop attacking as well as Olaf.
Darius actually did a much better job. Even though he died, he still kept their attention in the top lane, and so it's basically one of those moments of, hey blue team, we just got your Darius, how about that? Blue team saying, hey, we just beat the rest of your team and got a Nexus turret. Then, you know, red team's kind of feeling a bit bad about that, but it's a really good job by Darius to just stay in the top lane and distract as much attention as he can, and that's really been helping them win this game. We've seen that he's been top lane drawing their attention, and because of that, blue team got a free dragon. He's been up in the top lane drawing their attention. Because of that, they won a team fight and took a Nexus turret. So, very strong play by Darius, even though he's only got a 3-3 score.
Indeed, but because he's that 3-3 score, he is staying neutral. However, there is a fight going on the mid lane. A lot of damage going down on the UD there, and kill picked up using the Graves ulti there. Very nice play there. And Blitzcrank, don't know what Blitzcrank's doing right now. He didn't seem to quite help his team there. They are going to run through the jungle now, whereas Darius picks up a kill on the Olaf. However, Diana picks up the kill on the Graves. That's not very good for them. However, they are trying to kite around the two remaining people there. However, Diana gets brought down by the Darius. They're now going to chase down onto that Blitzcrank. Here comes Gragas. Lovely ulti by Gragas there. Even with the flash from Blitzcrank, it was a straight on the head barrel, which took Blitzcrank out. Very nicely done.
And they're going to try to kill the Vayne right now.
They are now going to try and kill the Vayne, and it looks like there's a few stuns going down. Vayne is going to try and turn around and try and pick up the Gragas. However, Gragas now coming in, using his barrel and charge combo to pick up the Vayne. Vayne overstaying her welcome a little too much. However, Olaf's now going to go onto the Gragas. There's the Darius and the Taric trying to defend him now. Olaf's trying to go onto that Darius there. However, there is a Randwin's popped so that Olaf can't get any.
Oh, Graves is back. They might be able to start taking this team fight back. Oh, and Hecarim's down in the bottom lane as well. It looks like Taric and Darius are still on their way back, so blue team at this moment might just end up, you know, pushing around, taking objectives, and pushing towers in each lane, and red team, they have an inhibitor down in the mid lane, so they're going to be stuck in their base for quite a while.
They will be. This does mean bad news for them, because it does mean that the blue team, because red team are now stuck in their base, blue team have advantage to get the Baron, and that's not good for the red team, because then the red team is suffering a very hard choice. Do they stay and defend their base, or do they try and interrupt that Baron fight? And that's just what blue team is now going to do.
Red team has already pinged it down there a little bit, so they know, you know, this is the next logical choice for the blue team. Since they don't really have any lanes pushed into the base, they can go straight for Baron. And the red team, they're going to be stuck with the Surfer minions in the mid lane, and Taric might get caught out there, but both players just kind of walking away from each other. Armistice there.
It looks like Darius doing his job again as the guy that, you know, just stays there and sort of takes up the time of the red team, while the rest of the blue team go straight for the Baron. Down goes Darius, but he's done his job, as the blue team seem to be doing very well on the Baron. They haven't really realized it yet, and it looks like they have picked it up. There goes the Gragas ulti, strange Gragas ulti there, because Diana already flashed over the wall by then. However, she did get picked up by the Graves and the rest of their team.
And they're just going to try to snowball this from here, trying to catch the Vayne. Ooh, she's going the wrong way. Now blue team, they're either going to decide to pick up Vayne, or they're going to go straight down the mid lane and into the Nexus. And this is a Baron Nexus, so it's going to be really hard for the red team to hold off. In fact, the blue team could basically just tank all the damage. And oh, the inhibitor came back up!
Oh god, the inhibitor came back up, and that means they are going to have to take that out. But again, they have got the Baron buff, and they are probably going to pull this through. They're now bearing down all that damage onto Vayne. Graves picking up that kill. They're now going to try and defend the Nexus as much as possible. However, the blue team doing so much damage. Olaf trying to go on that Graves, but Graves pulling out of the fight so well, kiting around that Olaf long enough so they can pick up the kill. They are still trying to go onto that Graves. Lovely dash by the Graves there to avoid that Crescent strike, and it does mean that she was kited around enough to be to die to the rest of the team. They are taking shots, taking some tower shots from the base. However, that is a GG.
And there we go, GG. Blue team, Huevos still Equipos. They've been really, really strong this game.
They have been. They have been indeed. They had a very large gold lead as well.